Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras, in the state, known to most of free America as California. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Bierwarski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most, here on the Rundown 2A Views, conservative news. And in addition to being a holiday, Craig, guess what day it is?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
That's right, folks. It is Hump Day. This is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not, but the fun is all in the trying. Now, Mike, how is the beginning of your weekend going? Have you been successful thus far?
Yes, I have. I've been like half-heartedly into my work all this week. And that's not really good because you remember I'm a pilot, but it worked. It was enough to work.
Well, it's not good for those who are flying with you.
Yeah, I was good. We still landed fine. They might have been an abrupt path in, but we were okay. So now's the cooking starts, right? I've been doing that for a little bit, a couple hours. Got a couple more hours to go tonight, and it's my favorite part of the day because you don't have to sit and be formal to eat. You just eat right while you're cooking, you drink, and you cook. And
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So the only real responsibility I have for the Thanksgiving meal is making sure there's plenty of beer, wine, and beverages. And then if we are smoking a turkey, smoking the turkey. I did the brine. Well, then I'll brine. I'll be the one who will brine it the other, a couple of days before. But otherwise, I stay away from cooking on Thanksgiving.
Now, when you do the turkey on the grill, Craig, do you leave it whole or do you do it spatchcock style?
Oh, no. We keep it whole, buddy.
I actually don't really care. I just wanted to say spatchcock.
I know you did. I know you all too well, my friend, but that's okay. That's all good. Because guess what? It's the weekend.
It's Friday. No.
Well, it's not Friday, but it is the weekend. It's Hump Day. I thought we already went through this.
Thanks. Hey, you got any good Thanksgiving jokes?
Actually, no. If I had known ahead of time, I probably could have been prepared, but I don't really have any off the top of my head. There are probably some that were stored in my brain, and as soon as you asked me, they ran and hid.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Just curious if you had any.
Okay.
Turkeys Thanksgiving is one of them holidays you don't hear a lot of jokes about, but oh well.
No, not at all. But I think we'll make up for it when we're doing the parting shots. That's the one I think we'll make up for it.
Yeah, there you go.
There's some good ones. So before we get started, let's go ahead, Mike, and give that shout out to our sponsors.
Moving them up to the top of the roster today because we really want you to go there and get yourself an awesome holster. Go to Hog Holsters. That's HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.com. Best concealable holsters around. You go there right now. You're going to get yourself a discount. Use the code The Rundown. All one word, all caps, The Rundown. That's at hogholsters.com. Say hello to our good friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. If you got a rifle in the past 5 years, odds are you probably got one of their barrels and you don't even know it. Well, now you can get yourself a new barrel for your newest build or switch out the barrel in your current platform. That's hitmanindustries.net. The California Republican Assembly, all the work they did out there at the election. Well, guess what? Already working on the next one. Checking out the candidates for you, doing referrals as best they can. Go to California Republican Assembly and help the guys out there and the gals. And then finally, if you want some awesome tactical gear, combat gear, web gear, kind of stuff you wear in the woods or in the desert, go to uscombatgear.com, veteran-owned and operated.
That's right, folks. By the way, the website for the California Republican Assembly is cragop.org. That's cragop.org. But yeah, check them out, man. Tons successful. Trust me. The fact that we now have a majority in the House of Representatives is in no small part to the folks from California who took back a number of seats. Now, mind you, they're seats we lost before. So, we just,
Yeah, but it went like this.
undoing our stuff, our mistakes. That's all. Getting back to stuff we lost. Know what I mean?
That's right.
But yeah, folks, look, these are our sponsors. They're going out of their way to help us be there with you and be there for you. Do us a favor. Go to them. Check them out. The links to all their websites are in the description to this program. Check them out. If you like what you see there, spend some money with them and tell them that the guys over at The Rundown sent you.
Say hi.
Now, I see we're having, I don't know if it's connection issues or what it is, but there may be a little bit of latency, so apologize about that. If there's something that you see or you miss and you're something's tripping on it, you can always watch us on OpsLens later, or you can, by the way, you can also make sure to check us out on Spotify. Either one, you can watch the program there. In the event that there's some latency and you miss you miss a word or two, and you want to understand exactly what the joke was, but sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Us being
We'll
in that
roll through it. We'll get through it. It'll be okay.
There you go. It's going to be all right. All right. So let's move along to our first story. This story I'm doing in honor of my good friend, Mr. Mike, who is 100% unvaccinated. Now, I cannot say that. We got the initial vaccine. We haven't gotten any of the re-ups, but did go and get the first vaccine. But now what they're finding is the majority of the people who are dying of COVID and are actually the vaccinated. In other words, more people who are vaccinated are dying of COVID-19 than are unvaccinated dying of COVID-19. Now, the reason why we know that this should not get our channel, get us knocked off YouTube, is because this was reported in the Washington Post. So this is from the left wing of the left wing. So I feel pretty comfortable that we're safe, Mike, that the reporting on this is not going to get us removed from the Webernets.
Oh, you mean you think they're actually listening to all of our content rather than just searching keywords? Oh, that's so nice of you. So trusting of them. This is great, Craig. Great news, because let me think about it. Hold on. We're not dying. None of us have died. None of us have died. We're still here. You say what you want. You give these experimental vaccines out. You start putting them in people. They start having other, some of them. I'm not saying all of them. Okay, right there. But you follow the science, right? They want you to think follow the science means blindly do what they say to do, and it's not. Follow the science is like, how about we check out what these vaccines do, and then we watch what they've done to people, and we see people getting ill. We see them having weakened immune systems. We see them end up, being infected by this horrible virus from China, by the way. And China. Those of us that went without, those of us that went without because we weren't at risk and didn't blindly follow our way to the needle, doing cool. Greg, haven't had a sore throat or a cough since all this started. Well, since many years before that, because I'm low risk, good immune system. Yeah, I'm still here.
Well, Mike, and here's what I'll say. For a while there, I had an issue with people calling it the vaccine experimental because, it went through the quote-unquote approval process. But then you learn, yes, it went through the approval process, but it went through the expedited approval process. And one of the ways in which they got it to be able to go through that expedited process is by shutting down any other prospects of therapeutics out there. So in other words, people who could have been taking something that might have helped, that got shot down. And the reason why it got shot down was so that they could push this COVID vaccine through. Yeah. Now, it's still experimental, in particular when you compare it to other vaccinations, most of which have been around for over a decade, for decades, that is, before they actually started trying to mandate it. Now you got them trying to mandate this thing that's been around for a little over a year. We still don't know the long-term effects of it. And I think that people wouldn't be so negative about it. They may still be hesitant, but they wouldn't be so negative about it if if the government and the media, and basically mainly those on the left, just weren't so insistent that, oh, no, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. No, none of that information is correct. And only for us to find out, yeah, we were right.
I agree with you, Craig. Obviously, the problem I have with the vaccine being the expedited vaccine is that this isn't the Starship Enterprise, right? And Dr. McCoy doesn't have 10 minutes to save the whole planet. This was we understand the politics that was behind this illness, but running a expedited and saying, oh, look, it's cured. It took 20 years for the polio vaccine to become to production because of all the testing they were doing. Now, mind you, that might be 5 or 10 years now in today's time, but it's still, you have to worry about the long-term effects. That's exactly what it is.
Right.
Listen, just to use a movie as a reference, it's a movie. I get it. Do you remember in the movie I Am Legend with Will Smith? This is the part before he punched Chris Rock in the face. Yeah, it's the part before he punched Chris Rock. But anyway, in I Am Legend, it starts off with a news clipping where they're interviewing a woman and says, "So you've cured cancer?" She said, "Yes, I've cured cancer. We've cured cancer." And it was the virus, and it was what they had was it cured cancer. Now they figured out like a month later it turned you into a zombie, but I'm not saying that's going to happen with the COVID vaccine. But how do you know, right? You didn't even give it a chance. Would you wait 5 minutes and you went, no, he's still good. Put it on the market. Put it out there.
Well, but even with that, if they had done that and people were hesitant to take it, that's fine. Or if people wanted to take it right away, that's fine as long as you're honest about, look, we don't know the long-term effects of it. But then you don't turn around and you mandate it. You don't say, well, if you don't get this, you lose your job. Or if you don't get this, you don't get to go to school. I mean, or you don't get to travel. I mean, that's what the problem, and that's what I think people don't understand is a lot of the problem that people had wasn't that they expedited it, but that they expedited it, and then they didn't share accurate information about either the efficacy or the side effects, and then they mandated it. That's the problem that people had.
Yep. No, agreed. Yeah, it's putting it all together, right?
Right.
We had a little piece over here. We had a little piece together over here. We put the top on it. When it all comes together, it's a big giant turd sandwich. And,
right.
That's what they tried to service for 2 years.
Yep. And now, well, as we know, what we knew to be the case is eventually now the case. And that is that, no, y'all ain't. It ain't working for you. It ain't working for us. Anyway.
No.
So this next one, and this had to do, just recently, Mr. Fauci, or I'm sorry, I call him Mr. because I refuse to call him Dr. Fauci. Mr. Fauci did his final little press availability in order to talk about his COVID. It was supposed to be his last availability while he was still working for the government, because his thing was, he said he planned on retiring. Which is interesting because now he's actually retiring a little early. I thought he said he was going to retire after Biden was done, but that's not what he wound up doing. He's actually retiring now. But so this was supposed to be like his last press availability. And in this press availability, there were reporters who had not, by the way, been able to ask him questions regarding a number of different things, including the origin of COVID. Well, when reporters attempted to ask Dr. Fauci about the origins of COVID, they shut him down. When I say they, I mean KJP. I mean the press secretary for the president, and was downright nasty and rude about it. And she said, I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this. That's not what we're doing. We're not going to do it this way because you want to do it this way. Now, Mike, this has been, when it comes to it. Now, mind you, this was a president who said he was going to be the most transparent president ever. And first of all, he's only had 2, maybe 3 press conferences, right? And even then, he only addresses questions to those who are on a list. because they already know the questions that they're going to get. People who are going to throw him softball questions and aren't going to challenge him. I don't know. I just think that that for them to claim that this person, that this White House is transparent is a farce. 100% farce.
Listen, when the president's talking about being transparent, that means he's only allowed to eat clear fluids after 4 p.m. It's just it's just the way his diet works at his age. This is just it's again, Craig. It's more nonsense, right? This is here we have they're standing there on their own policy, and then somebody asks a question to try and remain within the guidelines they've set up to run this press conference, and they know what we said. But that's not what we're going to do. That only applies to the other team and the other side, and we get to poke fun at them. They don't get to poke fun at us for doing what they said we do. So, yeah, it's harsh. It was a legitimate question as well, But there you go. No, sorry, we're not playing your game. We're the Democrats. We're going to play our own game. We're not playing your game.
Well, and then what gets me though is that you still had in some places you still had Democrats who were willing to keep, or voters who were willing to keep the Democrats in power. And it wasn't, what's funny is a lot of people, they want to act like there wasn't a red wave, and there was a red wave. It just wasn't everywhere. Where there was a red wave was in some places of some parts of California there was a red wave, some congressional districts. Florida, it was a tsunami. I mean, by all standards, Florida was believed to be purple until this election. It's not just red, it's deep red now. But once again, by all indications, Texas is another one that was believed to be leaning purple. It is now also once again deep red, as are, by the way, I believe other areas and states. But in some areas, it's like, how do you not see? They're lying to you, yet and still, you choose to allow them to lead you.
What again? Listen, they're okay. And how many times do we mention that the amount of people that really pay attention to politics is got to be less than 10%, right? Whether they never have it or they're just so fed up that they don't. They know because, like their family before them, they go in there and they vote by the letter next to their name. And this is the ignorance that's going to get us to the point where we're looking at some sort of extreme action that's going to have to happen to get us out of the current downfall that we're in.
Yep, ain't that the truth? All right, moving along. Now, Republicans have promised that there will be an investigation of the Hunter Biden laptop. And now, mind you, this is not being done as just an attempt to make Joe Biden look bad. The fact is that there is more than enough evidence, including voicemail messages, email messages on that laptop, that will confirm that President Joe Biden not only was he involved in his son's business dealings, but that he knew about them, but that he was involved in them, and that he was very conscious about it, that he was, quote unquote, the big guy. And because there's also, by the way, along with the laptop, there's corroborating witnesses that are out there. And so there's an article today in the Washington Post where they're pretty much talking about, or actually it was yesterday, but they're talking about the time is running out for Joe and Hunter Biden as GOP prepares an investigation. Folks, now what they've done and what the Democrats have done in this case is they've extended it to not only include the actual laptop and the involvement of the president, but Mike, we're also going to be looking into why the FBI has been soft pedaling, backpedaling, why they have not been actually, why they've been trying to cover this up, because they knew all of this, and yet and still, you don't hear anything, you don't see anything. They knew all this was going on, and there are serious attempts, and I believe there's evidence that members of the Department of Justice have gone out of their way to try and hide this investigation and try and keep this investigation from going forward.
Listen, they're sitting up there in the committee right now, Craig, knowing that they're going to be taking over and have subpoena power and be able to shut down the libs and the Democrats on the committee. They're sitting up there right now going like, and we're going to get this, and we're going to get them to do that, and we're going to do this. They're making the list, Craig. They're checking it twice because Joe and Hunter their naughtiness is about to be found out. So this is good. I'm not looking for the bloodbath. I don't want to see what they have attempted to do to the president. I do want to see answers to the questions that we have been asking, that everyone has been asking, since it all came up. What happened to this mysterious laptop? What happened with Joe in the Ukraine? All of the things that, that have quietly been pushed down under we found top secret papers at Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, he's the president. He's allowed to declassify whatever he wants. He's a former president. So, I'm looking forward to getting the answers to the questions we've all been asking. And even the Dems got to sit around and go, whew, good thing that laptop thing went away.
Well,
now they're going to get out too.
Well, but see, I to a degree, I am looking for a bloodbath, and that is the politicos within the Justice Department who thought that it was wise to cover this stuff up. They thought it was okay to, for example, in Russiagate, to investigate and spy on an individual that is running for president. Whoever it was who thought that it was okay to lie on affidavits going to the court so that they can get these FISA warrants. I want those individuals who have abused our Justice Department, right? Who've taken the law enforcement and law enforcement agency and used it as a weapon against political enemies. Yes, I want a bloodbath when it comes to them. I want them not just fired, I want them thrown in jail.
Yeah, absolutely. We heard that promise from President Trump, right? Because you'd be in jail, and then he went nice. He went soft. He was trying to make friends and do some work together. But now I'm done. I'm done with it.
Well, at least the thing with Hillary was, okay, well, he decided for political reasons that makes, but these are people within the Justice Department who are utilizing politics as a political, utilizing law enforcement as a political weapon. That is something that has got to stop. And by the way, I'm not saying that the Republicans need to use law enforcement as a political weapon. I'm not saying do what they did. I'm saying go after people who abused power. And that's exactly what they did in this particular case. And it's kind of obvious to anybody who's paying attention.
Exactly right. Yep.
So yeah, laptop investigation, it's on. Just so y'all know.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
On like Donkey Kong. Now, I don't know if you've been following the John Q or the Club Q shooter, John Q, Club Q shooter. This was the nightclub in Boulder, Colorado, where an individual decided to go into the nightclub and try to shoot the place up. He was actually taken down by unarmed patrons. One of them being a veteran who owns another bar, who owns another establishment. Anyway, I've seen a couple of interviews with him. Seems like a real salt of the earth kind of guy. But anyway, so what's interesting about this is how they seem to be so how important it was that they actually got his pronouns right, because turns out this individual is quote unquote non-binary, and the only reason I'm pointing this out, folks, is because they went out of their way to try and make it sound like this was a gay hate crime. Those conservatives out there, those gun conservatives out there, they're trying to kill people who are whatever gender, yada yada yada. Well, turns out, no, wasn't the case. Wasn't a conservative. Turns out this is a guy who had mental health issues. He was bullied. He was all the things that if you look at all the things that you would normally see in someone who does something like this, all the evidence was there. This is a guy who had called in a bomb threat at I think at his school, but he called in a bomb threat. He was actually but all that having been said, honestly, him being non-binary or being gay was just an aside to the fact that he was just a screwed up individual.
Craig, every time we see one of these shootings, right? Listen, oh, well, you know what? I guess maybe if he had taken a background check, this wouldn't have happened. Oh, he did take a background check. Okay. Well, maybe if he had mental health issues, if he used the red flag law against him, that you passed the law for, so you could stop this from happening, that this wouldn't happen. Oh, you didn't invoke the red flag law against him. Okay. Got it. All right. I understand. Well, maybe if the last time he was charged with, menacing and threats to do bodily harm, you put him on some kind of watch list to make sure that, he didn't do this at work. Oh, you didn't do that. Oh, okay. So we're following all the laws that you're passing for gun control, and yet you're not doing anything with them. You're not using the tools that you already have on the table. This guy was a lunatic, was an ass clown, whatever you want to call him. The fault here lies with the laws and the policy. Craig, I saw an article today that said, how can this have happened in Colorado? Colorado is a gun sanctuary state, or a Second Amendment sanctuary state. Yeah, it might be, but you know what the city of Colorado Springs is, and you know what this establishment was? Oh, they were gun-free zones. So this is what you have here. You've got more killings of innocent people in free fire zones. Oh, did I say free fire zone? I'm sorry, I meant gun-free zone.
Free fire zone. Well, it's free fire if you ignore the gun-free zone sign.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very true.
That's how that works, Phil. That's how that works. All right, let's go ahead and let's get into our parting shots. These first few are in honor of Thanksgiving, as well as, kind of a nice little shout out for the show. The first one, and I know that some of you out there, like not everyone is like married, we have to actually impress those with whom we are spending our time on Thanksgiving. So if you're a single guy and you want to impress the young lady in your life on Thanksgiving Day, make sure you get her something expensive. You want to describe this one for the folks, Mike?
Turkey.
He's kneeling down. He's looking like he's proposing, and there's a guy kneeling, and they're on a beach, and he's got a turkey in his hand. Which I'm impressed that he is holding that turkey with such confidence with one hand.
Yeah, he's holding that turkey with one hand, Craig. He's clearly right-handed and been single too long. He wants to get married. Yeah.
Very impressive. Very impressive. I'm impressed with dude. Anyway, even if you're not. All right, this
Craig,
next
here,
one now.
Turkey right here. I got a turkey right here. Look. Oh, yeah, that's what a turkey costs. Turkey right there.
So, by the way, speaking of what a turkey costs, we were actually thinking about deep frying a turkey till we went and we saw that it was that the oil, the peanut oil in and of itself to deep fry the turkey was $50. I was like, really? I'm sorry. We'll put it on the smoker.
Exactly right. There you go.
I'm not spending more on the oil to cook the turkey than I did on the turkey.
Right. Yeah.
Just saying.
It's true. Yeah. Listen, it's nice. Let somebody else do it, okay? It's
Right.
not a big deal.
Exactly.
We're in our own house. Yeah.
Exactly. Let someone else burn their house down. All right, so this next one is for those of you now. I, by the way, happen to be one who definitely enjoys cranberry sauce. And I know I don't like cranberry sauce with the fresh cranberries. I like the canned stuff, right? I like you open the can up, you go, and I like it still in the can, in the shape of the can when it's sitting there on the plate. That's how I like my cranberry sauce. But I also understand that it may not necessarily be ecologically correct. This one has a dolphin in cranberries. It's saying, please ask for dolphin-free cranberries this Thanksgiving. Every year, at least 12,000 cranberry bog dolphins are scooped into nets and canned. Make this year different. I'm sorry, I don't care. If I got to have a little dolphin in my cranberries, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm with it. Bog dolphins, yeah, who cares? Yeah, that's okay. I want my cranberries. Yeah. I will buy like one every month or two, the can of stuff, and put it in the back of the cabinet, because you do not want to get to October time frame and find out they're gone and you ain't having cranberry at Thanksgiving, because you might as well not have it at that point.
You might as well not. And I'm like I said, I'm not down for the fresh cranberry sauce. That's just
No. I don't need anybody bringing me their fresh ground up mango chutney cranberry sauce. No.
No.
Yeah.
Nope. Keep
It's
that
partisan.
to
Yeah,
yourself.
Yeah.
You know who else feels that way? Your conservative uncle. So this is a guy sitting there. He's looking at you drinking a beer, and he's got this look like say something, say something, say something, say something. And the meme says, conservative uncles waiting for woke nephews to open their mouth about literally anything at the dinner table this Thanksgiving. By the way,
did I ever tell you that it was at Thanksgiving that I found out my family was racist?
okay, for lack of having us canceled from Facebook and YouTube, I'm going to ask you to tell this story.
No, it was simple. I brought home my my Puerto Rican girlfriend for Thanksgiving, and my wife and daughter hated her.
You know,
Story.
the thing was, I should have known better. I know I should have known better, and
They were a bunch of racist.
I bit anyway.
Yep.
Mike, you're done. You're done. You're done. That's it. You're done. All right. So this next one, in terms of understanding history, as we think about Thanksgiving, there are a lot of people who see history from a very different perspective. The founding of this country and the culture that was here, the Western Hemisphere before Europeans got here. They have a particular eye of what they thought this culture was. And this meme kind of, shares with you exactly what that was. And, so Mike, you want to describe this one for the folks?
Okay, so you have which is kind of poetic for what we're looking at today. So you have what's the perception of brutal Native Americans. Let's say that, and they're sacrificing one of their own, and by pulling his heart out of his chest upon an altar. And then you have what looks like the European Christian crusaders, coming ashore and witnessing this massacre, and the pilgrims, the Indians, the American Indians, Native Americans, whatever the right term is that doesn't get us shut down. They're saying, "Oh, look, here comes the far right."
Now, what gets me about this, and the reason why I so appreciate this one is, the thing is, every culture has both the history that we enjoy and that we celebrate, but it also has its dark parts of its history. And we want to act in this day and age as if everything European was dark and nasty and violent and ugly, and there was absolutely no good that was brought to the world by Western or European culture. And at the same time, everything Native American is all natural and was all good, and that there was not a thing that was negative, or there was not a negative thing that could be seen or taken away from Native American culture. And we see from this, and by the way, this is an accurate depiction of they just look to the Aztecs. There were peoples here on this continent, in this hemisphere, who believed in human sacrifice, who would conquer other nations and would sacrifice them kill them and sacrifice them to their gods. And there were violent wars between various different cultures. It happened, all right? That was not something that white people invented. It happened here before white people ever stepped on these shores. But I think it's an interesting perspective. It's not, and by the way, it's not all who they were. It doesn't define who they were or who they are, as the worst that was done by, whether it's Europeans or Africans or Asians, whatever it is, they should not be defined by the worst aspects of anything that happened in their history or their past. So,
you're correct, and I think that's a good way to leave it there. Good lesson.
Right. And finally, as we have talked this week or even last week about all the investigations of Donald Trump, I think this last one really kind of nails it. Okay, so here you've got Chris Pratt. This is he was on The Office in this one.
Yeah, it's Fat Pratt.
Fat Pratt. Okay, so it's like it's got him with that excited look on his face, and it says liberals first investigation into Trump, and then it's got the bottom one. It's got the same exact look. It also says liberals 765th investigation into Trump. And Mike, now just for the record, how many times has Donald Trump ever been convicted of breaking the law? I'll wait.
That would be an ofer he's got going, right? He's zero times.
How many years have they been investigating him?
Since he said, I want to run.
Okay.
So it's about 2014, 2015.
Right. He was, as a matter of fact, his lawyers were in court on the same day in 4 different courts just this week.
Yep.
But now, Mike, to your knowledge, has this ever happened to a president?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I wasn't around for Jefferson or anything like that. But
Right.
It's nothing that we've ever seen before in our time. And Craig, the former president just got his Twitter account back. He's not made his first tweet yet, but I think his first tweet needs to be something like, "Come at me, bro." Something like that.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah.
So once again, I will just call it political persecution. I got no problem calling it that. All right, hey, before we go today, let's hit up our sponsors one more time.
Let's do it again. Let's talk about Hitman Industries. You can go there and get yourself a rifle or pistol caliber in any length barrel for your AR rifle or pistol. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Make sure you reach out to them as well. And then, of course, you got the best combat gear out there, tactical gear, web gear. Go to uscombatgear.com. And right now, while you're sitting there with us, listening, I don't care if you're driving down the road, pick up your phone, just try and keep one eye on the road and one eye on the phone, and go to Hog Holsters, HAWGholsters.com, HAWGholsters.com. Get yourself some of the best concealable holsters ever made. Use the code The Rundown, all one word, all caps, and get yourself a nice discount today.
Okay, I'm trying to keep one eye on the road and one eye on the phone. I think I got it.
Do it.
Got her done. All right, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We very much appreciate you. We are not going to be on tomorrow, just so you know. In case you were wondering. I know you weren't wondering, but yeah, we will not be on tomorrow, and I make no guarantees for Feedback Friday. But if we are, if you have subscribed to our channel, if you've subscribed to us, if you've made sure to hit the notification button, then you'll be alerted as soon as we go live, and then you can participate in the live chat as the program is taking place. And if you haven't already subscribed and hit the notification button, well, then you'll just have to find out when you find out.
Yeah, like venereal disease.
There you go. On that note, we're out, and we will see you when we see you. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.